Welcome back, everybody, to the KC Sports Report. I'm your host, Michael Darcy, and today I'm joined by Josh Fan of ShowMeFootball.com, and Lucas Murphy, the beat of KC, our friend, is back on the show, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Rasheed Rice suspension that's looming and how that's going to affect the Chiefs' offense. So, Lucas, I want to start off with you. What are your initial thoughts of the ruling that came out that Rasheed Rice is going to serve 5 years probation, 30 days in county jail? What are your thoughts on that? And then what do you think he's going to end up being suspended?
Yeah, we look at it from a civilian type of thing where, I feel like a normal person that probably would get absolutely hammered. Athletes often kind of find ways because they have money, and I'm sure there's a huge settlement. I think it's close over $1 million in settlement money, and then obviously the jail time for 30 days. It'd be curious to see how all that works out. Splitting it up, or is he going to do it all at once? Honestly, I thought it was not as much as what it could have been because of the act. So yeah, I was pretty surprised at that. I'm just going to be honest, too. I'm really excited that all this is kind of coming out before the season's even starting, just because we've gone through times where, the NFL will just throw, a random suspension, 3 or 4 games into the season. So I'm glad we're really getting it even before training camp so we can kind of prepare as an organization for his, however long he's going to be out. To answer your question on that, as soon as I saw the news, I immediately thought 4 games. I've seen a range anywhere from 2 to 6, but my prediction for this, I feel like they're gonna, there's been how many cases similar to where there's high speed cars involved, you had Henry Ruggs, that was absolutely tragic. Shadur Sanders recently just got hit with going 110 in a car. And then obviously
I think multiple times too.
Yeah, and then Tyreek Hill's been the same thing down in Miami. So there's numerous examples of, and it's not just football; it's professional athletes. But I always feel like the NFL likes to set examples, and not to say that it's just a Chiefs thing, but I feel like they're gonna do an example of Rasheed Rice. We're trying to do what's best for the athlete, and so I think they'll suspend him and set him as an example. So my prediction is 4 games.
Okay. Josh, your thoughts?
Yeah, I want to go back to something Lucas said, though, about how, Rasheed got a slap on the wrist, relatively speaking, as opposed to if one of us did what he did. But I think that's kind of what's interesting about the resolution that we got is that really I think he could have actually gotten no jail time at all, but I think him and his legal team wanted to get a resolution now, even if it meant him taking a little bit of jail time, and that's the really interesting thing to me. But I'm right there with Lucas. I think 4 games is probably what he's going to end up getting. It's just so incredibly difficult to predict because Willie Gay got 4 games a couple years ago for a domestic violence incident that didn't actually involve hitting anyone, but he broke a couple belongings. It's if that gets 4 games, let's be real, Rasheed Rice could have almost killed someone. What does that get? I don't know.
Yeah, and he still
actually
had to
let me throw in one more thing too. Another factor in this is the fact that the incident really happened over a year ago. If it had happened this offseason and it was fresher on people's minds, I think the suspension might be larger.
Oh, yeah. I definitely agree. And I think that 4 games is definitely the sweet spot. I would be a little bit frustrated if he got 6 to 8. And I know the NFL is still capable of doing that because there's really no cut or dry way that they do this. It's kind of, on an individual case basis. And so while the Chiefs organization is optimistic that it's going to be anywhere from 2 to 4 games, it could still be more. And maybe the NFL tries to set the example and kind of bring the hammer down on Rasheed Rice. I hope that's not the case, but I'm just saying that it could be possible. But I think, Josh, you made a great point about it being so long ago that we're kind of, over it. I don't want to say over it, but it happened in 2024, and, he played last year before he got hurt. It's not fresh in people's minds. Even with the criminal stuff being sentenced, a couple days ago, I do think the fact this happened in 2024 is good for Rice's chances of being suspended for a less amount of games. But I do want to ask both of you the question, with Rasheed Rice being out at least to start the 2025 season, how do you think that's going to take a hit on the Chiefs' offense?
I'll go first, just because I'm super excited about this. I'm going to take maybe a different angle. I'm really excited for Jalen Royals. I think that this is going to be his opportunity to step up. I mean, when you comp Jalen Royals, he is almost the epitome of what Rasheed Rice is. They're going to pretty much run the same route tree. I mean, they pretty much are going to run. I mean, he's going to be in Rasheed Rice's position pretty much. So yeah. I'm really excited for him. I think this is a huge opportunity for him to really show out and show why the Chiefs actually took the opportunity to draft him. I mean, body size, everything. Like for what we've been able to see, for some of the clips of him practicing. I mean, the footwork, the quick burst, the shiftiness. I'm super excited for him, and I think it's going to be a big opportunity just to see, what he is going to be able to provide this offense. I don't personally think that they're going to really take a big hit on offense. I think really when you look at the entire offense, weapon-wise, I think that there's just so much veteran presence. I mean, you got Hollywood Brown. You got Xavier Worthy coming back, and I wouldn't necessarily classify him as a veteran, but, I mean, we saw what he was able to do last year. You got Juju coming back. I mean, there's a lot of good quality wide receivers still on this team. Another thing is, too, and everybody does kind of bash on Sky Moore, and we kind of talked a little bit about it before this started, but, I mean, that's an opportunity for a guy you drafted who's really been putting in the work. Like, I don't want that to go unnoticed. Like, the guy, every time you see something on social media, he is putting in the work. So maybe we finally see something that Sky Moore has been lacking. I think it just gives him an opportunity, too.
Well, if he gives you anything, I mean, that would be great, right?
Right.
I mean compared to what you've been getting.
That's a big one. I mean,
yeah, no, that would be a win.
Nico, I mean, that's another guy, too, that could have been on the borderline of being cut, and now he has a chance to kind of have an opportunity to make the squad now, too, out of camp. I mean, they know what he's capable of doing. And so, yeah, I think what Rasheed Rice provides, I was a huge, huge fan of him coming out of SMU. We saw what he could do, and we know that a suspension's coming, but I just think that they're prepared more for a hit. And something I was talking today with a bunch of people, this is the most comfortable I felt depth-wise for this Kansas City Chiefs team in a long time. Like, I feel like they're pretty solid across the board when it comes to depth. Like, they just don't take huge drop-offs in a lot of spots. And I would say wide receiver is one of those. I just don't feel like if you miss a top-end guy like Rice, I just don't think, like, the cliff is coming. Like, you have guys that are going to be able to fill that spot, and you may notice it a little bit, but not as much as you should.
Yeah, no, I agree 100% with everything Lucas just said, to be quite honest. Like, I was very complimentary of the offseason Brett Veach had, because I felt like even before the draft, we had, like, virtually zero holes on this roster, which was not a spot that I really found myself saying in previous years. Like, it just felt like we always had the one gaping hole going into the draft. This year we really didn't. Granted, we still had needs, but not like the one position you're pigeonholed into taking early on. But anyways, to answer Michael's original question about the offense, like, I don't really see I just put out a video earlier today basically saying this, but, like, I don't think Rasheed Rice being gone is going to affect the Chiefs' ability to win regular season games. I just don't really see that. I think they'll be fine without him. And Lucas already kind of said this too, but I just think the receiver position, is in a much better spot this year that they can absorb a loss like this, because of the fact that they added Royals. Hopefully, you're going to have Hollywood healthy this time around, Xavier Worthy going into year 2. And also, like, the Chiefs last year, specifically were able to get, like, turn back the clock games from like Juju Smith-Schuster or Kareem Hunt on a given day, and I still think those guys are capable of a big game. You know, like you can patch together the Rasheed Rice production that's going to be lost when he gets suspended, I think, pretty easily.
The Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway is the place to be. With over 1,500 slot machines, 35 table games, 4 restaurants, and a new ESPN Bet sportsbook, there are plenty of ways to find your fun. For more chances to win, follow them on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and X. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. At Rice Real Estate Group, they're more than just a real estate team. They're a full-service partner in residential, commercial, and investment properties. They specialize in guiding clients through every stage, from the buying and selling process to handling complex, short sale situations with ease. Their passion lies in the personal one-on-one care they bring to every client relationship, ensuring each experience is tailored, smooth, and successful. Here it's all about building trust, delivering expertise, and ensuring every client feels valued throughout their journey. For more information, call Marla Rice at 816-819-9333. See, I'm not necessarily worried about the Chiefs losing games without Rasheed Rice. I am a little bit worried about the offense's production. I think that last year they struggled. Obviously, they had a lot more injuries, but I think that one aspect that we're going to have to see a lot of, and unfortunately this is going to be the case, Travis Kelce's going to get targeted a lot. He's going to kind of be asked to take on the load of, Rasheed Rice's production again, and that's not fair to him. He's going to be 36. I guess 35, 36. He's mid-30s, and that is something that
we can just round up to 40. I mean, he's 40.
You got to be kind of worried about that.
You know, one thing that I think too that I noticed is, like, if he does get suspended, we'll say 4 games. I immediately went to the schedule and I'm like, what 4 games is he gonna miss? And I think, to me, that's you want to, as an organization, you want to get off to a hot start. And our schedule is not easy by no means, but obviously we go on the road first game to Brazil. We play the Chargers. We immediately turn around and follow that up facing the team we got dominated against again in the Super Bowl against the Eagles. You go on the road to the Giants, which, the Giants defense, I wouldn't sleep on the Giants defense this year. Now their offense is, if you lock up Malik Neighbors and kind of slow down Russell Wilson or whoever they end up starting, I think you'll be all right there. But then you turn around and play Baltimore. So your front end 4 games that he potentially could be suspended is going to be very, very tough. And so that's the only, I think, real negative, is that if he is suspended those 4, those are impactful games. 2 of those are pretty big AFC games. So really that's kind of where I'm at with him potentially getting suspended so early. And then obviously you want that connection with some of those guys. And I think too the depth of even tight end, like you look at it and you got a veteran presence in Robert Tonyan, whether he makes the team or not. Noah Gray had a really good season last year. And obviously we'll get into more, but I think the first 4 games, if he's out and then you kind of just plug him in during conference play or division play, I think we should be all right.
Yeah, I think Travis Kelce, even though it's unfair to him for the Chiefs to keep using him in that way, he's still going to be there, and he's extremely competitive, and he's going to command targets still. As long as he's playing, he's going to command targets naturally. And Michael and I did a video a little bit earlier in the offseason when we talked about the kind of year that Travis Kelce could have, and I said I think Travis Kelce may statistically not have another big year, but I think he's going to have more individual games in which he's a really big factor. And we didn't get that a lot last year. It was just like a lot of 2 receptions for 29 yards, 3 catches, 34 yards. But I think we're going to see. He's going to have his quiet game still. I think naturally, you're going to see games where he's just not that big of a factor at this age. But I think we're going to see an uptick in the big 5 catch, 78-yard games with 2 touchdowns and more of a factor in the red zone. Because I think Kelsey only had like 2 or 3 touchdowns last year. His touchdown reception numbers were way low, but I think that goes back up this year.
My only counter to that is like, if this is his last year, I think he leaves it all on the table, and I'll be curious.
Yeah, that's kind of what Michael said too.
I'll be curious to see what type of season he has, because if he really is, I mean, everybody always says we're coming in the best shape of our life, but like, he really does look like he's trimmed down. I mean, people are speaking very highly of how he is. I mean, we know Travis Kelce. He comes in, he's working when he doesn't have to, but man, if it's his last year, I think he's going to go out on top.
Well, he's definitely in better shape than he was last year. He was a little bit fluffy last year. And listen, he had a lot of stuff going on, in the offseason. He was in Europe on, like, the Taylor Swift tour, and so he's definitely paying more attention to his physical health and getting ready for one last season. And I think that with Rasheed Rice potentially being out for the first month of the season, he is going to be asked to, kind of carry a little bit more of the load of the offense and maybe a little bit more than normal without Rice. So I do want to ask you guys this last question before we get out of here. With Rasheed Rice being out, we'll say bare minimum 4 games, do you think that he will still reach 1,000 receiving yards?
Yes.
Go ahead, Lucas.
Yeah, I believe he will. I think he's hungry. I think the Chiefs' offense feeds through him when he's out there. He's a yak guy. Like, he's going to catch the ball and go. If he doesn't eclipse 1,000, I think it'll be literally right at 1,000. I think he's going to get a lot, and I think he's going to and that's the thing, when you have the entire offense, you have to account for every one of them. And so I think, to kind of go back with what Josh was saying about Travis Kelce, like, he's going to have those one games where he goes off for 8 to 10 catches for 100+ yards and maybe a touchdown, and then he's going to be silent. But then that might be the time where Rasheed Rice has got like 8 to 10 catches for 100 yards, and so I believe he will. I still believe he'll hit the 1,000.
Yeah, I do too, because I think a lot of times people hear, oh, he's going to miss this many games, like, I guess 1,000 yards is off the table, but even the guys that do get 1,000 yards, pretty much all of them have 3 or 4 games you could pick out where they're just not a factor, or they only have like 20 yards. I think Rasheed Rice, he's going to have some ground to make up when he comes back, but it won't be that long before you're like, oh, because let's also remember, I think a good example actually is Kareem Hunt, who signed in like week 4 last year off the couch, and the dude led the team in yards from scrimmage, almost at 1,000 yards from scrimmage for the Chiefs last year.
Yeah. I definitely think that Rasheed Rice will be at or very close to 1,000 yards. But listen, he's still going to have 13 games to make up that 1,000 yards, and that's averaging less than 1,000 yards or less than 100 yards a game. And so he could absolutely do that. But I do think the offense could look a little bit different without Rasheed Rice, but I'm trusting Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid to figure it out with the deepest wide receiver core that he's ever had. So hopefully the Chiefs will not be too hamstrung by this Rasheed Rice incident, and I think they'll probably be okay. But my final question for both of you, and we'll start with Lucas, where can the people find your stuff?
You can head over to Twitter, or X, excuse me.
Twitter. It's Twitter.
It's Twitter.
No,
yeah, I'd never say X. It's always Twitter. But you're going to get a lot of baseball from me until football obviously starts. But it's the Beat of KC. I'm constantly on there, tweeting out, sending messages. So that's where you can find me.
And Josh?
You can find me here on YouTube, channel name Show Me Football, showmefootball.com, and then Twitter, ShowMeFB.
And guys, both of their channels and Twitter platforms will be available in the description of this video. Hit that like button, subscribe for more Daily Chiefs content. Until next time, guys, thank you for watching, and as always, go Chiefs.